It's Backstage Pass with Steve Ryan. And here's your host, Steve Ryan.
Hi, Steve.
Lou, hey.
How are you? Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing so well, brother. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Good. I'm so glad to see you, my friend.
Thanks. Same here.
You know, Lou, thank you for giving me some time, first of all. This is a bucket list interview for me, and I believe that you, at least in my book, are one of the greatest rock and roll singers of all time. In the top five for sure. You're right up there with Robert Plant and Steve Perry and Lou Gramm. I mean, it doesn't get any better, brother.
That's a serious compliment. Thank you.
I got a lot I want to go over with you, but I wanted to tell you congratulations on the induction in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I appreciate that. It was a long time coming. You know that?
I do know that, and you know, I was going to ask you. I know it was really important to Mick. Was it as important to you to get in there?
It was just as important to me too. We would talk about it, not often, but when we did talk about it, we it was very emotional, and we didn't understand if we lacked the lasting power to be part of the Hall of Fame or something. But we knew we had the credentials to be in it, and just couldn't understand why we weren't there.
It's politics. Yeah.
It ended up being politics. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. Well, well deserved. Very late coming, in my opinion, but I'm glad you're there.
I
So,
am too.
yeah. Hey, so Foreigner 4 Deluxe is coming out in September,
Yes, it
and
is.
uh, and it's a big project. I thought that Foreigner 4 cover just over my shoulder, and it looks like a ton of work has gone into that. It's been like 45 years, right?
It has been that much. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's. I think it's. Yes, it has. It is 45 years. Yes.
So they're going to throw in with that. I'm going to read off this because there's a ton going into it, like a bunch of exclusive photos that have never been seen, five previously unreleased songs, a bunch of alternative versions and instrumentals, and some live videos from the Foreigner 4 tour. Wow.
Yeah, that's quite a production. It's a landmark. It's a landmark piece of music for us, and I think the videos even emphasize it more how hard we worked and the music we released.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's sold millions of copies, and it's six, seven times platinum LP. But you know, I mean, I'm the age where I had the vinyl of Foreigner 4, and I wore that vinyl out. And I'll hold it up here because I was just looking I read your book,
Thank you.
and I enjoy that. Anybody who wants to do a deep dive into Lou Gramm, this is a great book. They should go and get that at their bookstore. But I think you said in your book, if I'm remembering right, on the recording of that, and it might have been recording of just with the band in general. But I thought my memory was you were talking about Foreigner 4. You sang your ass off on those tracks.
I did, and you know, between uh, Mick, who always held me to a high standard when we were recording and live shows, but Mutt Lang, who you know has produced some great acts over the years. He's got an incredible reputation for putting out exemplary work.
Yeah.
He held me to a standard that was outrageous, and I delivered everything I could, and I think the end result speaks for itself.
Yeah, for sure. Did you know? Could you feel it when you guys were in the studio? Something special was happening.
I could, yeah. I think I know Mick could when we would talk afterwards or before we'd start the day recording. We knew something was building up, and as we'd finish one song and move on to the next, we were kind of we had our heart in our throat because it was something amazing and better than we ever thought it could be.
Yeah, and you know, it's not like the first few albums weren't at a high standard because they were, but
It was.
this was like stratosphere.
Yep, and I mean there was a lot. You know, the writing of the songs was took quite a while, and we held ourselves to that same high standard when we were writing the songs. The message, the storyline, and the emotion of it was top notch, and it was a little deeper than we had gone before in some of the
Yeah.
past songs.
Yeah. And do you think Mutt, because he was producing, was able to kind of add that depth too? It was kind of like this perfect storm, huh?
He certainly lent his expertise to helping us uh, uh, reach another level.
Yeah. You know, I read in the book, in your book, when you were recording Waiting for a Girl Like You, there was some mystery woman in the studio or in the background, or and you've never really talked in a lot of detail but about that, but it said you wrote it, it helped you deliver a vocal better than you had sung before, something I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, it was more emotional because she was a beautiful young woman, and just as the introduction to the song started, and I was in front of the mic, the door to the control room opened, and she came right in and walked down two stairs and sat on the sofa right in front of the window that I was at, and Mick and Mutt were a little over to the right, and it seemed as if they didn't even see her. And she stayed there for the song, and I was emoting like there was no tomorrow. And every now and then she'd give me just a small little smile, you know. And
Yeah.
and, and as the song went into the outro, and I was ad libbing a little bit, she very quietly got up and walked up the stairs and slipped out the door.
Only in dreams could it be this way. When you love someone, yeah, you really love someone. No, I know it's right. From the moment I wake up till deep in the night, there's nowhere on earth that I'd rather be than holding you tenderly. I've been waiting for a girl like you to come into my life. I've been waiting.
And when the song ended, I says, "Did you guys see that?" "See what?" They said. You know, I said, "That beautiful woman that came in and walked down the stairs and sat on the sofa while I was singing." And they were like, "What did she look like? Is she still here?" You know,
Wow.
yep. So you know, I was amazed by all that, and then you know, as the day went on, I started thinking that I thought that they set me up a little bit, so that she being so beautiful would make me emote uh,
Yeah,
uh, far beyond what I normally would, and it worked.
it worked. Man,
What,
yeah,
what
that is such a
they never admitted
yeah.
to what they did, but they didn't need to really.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is a great, I mean, it was a huge hit, and I mean it's one of your signature songs, and I mean
Yes.
when you hear Lou Gramm, you know it's Lou Gramm, but that song, I mean, it's just it's so wonderful. You know, Urgent and Junior Walker played a great saxophone solo on it. Did Thomas Dolby played with you guys on Four, right?
Yes, he did.
And I can hear that. Foreigner has always been one of those great bands that started, in the late 70s, mixing, guitar, rock and roll with synthesizers and stuff like that. You guys were always good at that. But Thomas kind of, to me, I mean, he's so great, and you can really feel his influence, and even in Urgent, but Jukebox Hero as well. Would you
Oh, yeah,
agree with that?
I would totally agree. You know, when we asked him to help us make some of these songs a little bit special with his expertise, he was not a fan of Foreigner apparently, and kind of was reluctant to commit to be a part of anything. But when we sent him some rough tracks of some of the songs we were thinking of having him be a part of, he he uh, he caught the next plane over.
Yeah, man, he's
He
good.
he was awesome in the studio, and he's really a decent guy. And he made such a difference on that album.
Yeah, you know, I read that Jukebox Hero is one of your favorite Foreigner songs. Yeah.
Definitely is, yes. To perform too.
Yeah, and that intro, man, that intro is so good. And you know, I blew so many bass speakers in my car because of Jukebox Hero, because that bass is so intense, you know?
It
True.
is.
Yeah.
Standing in the rain with his head hung low, couldn't get a ticket, it was a sold out show.
Wow. Um, you're going out on the road. You're going to do some shows in December with the band supporting the Deluxe Foreigner 4, yeah?
Yes, I am. I
You
think it's
excited
going to be
about that?
really excited. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think if it works out the way we hope it works out, we may continue doing some more of the Foreigner 4 shows early next year.
Exciting. Man, that's so
Very,
great,
very,
Lou.
very much.
You know, the 404 album is so deep. There's so many great tracks on there. But Nightlife is one of my go-to tracks. I just love the energy to that song. And man, you just sing the crap out of that song.
Thank you.
We ain't talking about no highlight cabaret. I need something, just something to put me away. Yeah, all that neon and noise. Time to separate the man from the boy. It can get kind of rough. Let's see who's standing when the sun comes up. Nightlife, yes, the skyscrapers, but the nightlife is tomorrow morning vapor.
Yeah. Do you and then Break It Up is on there, and Break It Up was a release. It did pretty well, but you know, you sing that vocal so strong. But my favorite part of Break It Up is when kind of the bridge comes in and there's that soft spot, and
Yeah.
the lyrics. I think you say, and I ask myself, what's wrong with me? How could I be so blind? And it's so tender, and then it builds and builds and builds, and then it goes right back into that heavy, strong track. Man, I love that, Lou.
Thank you. Yeah, Mick and I worked hard to bring the song from the powerful song that it was down to practically nothing and just emotion. Then
Yeah,
into the back into
Yeah.
the power again.
And I ask myself, what's wrong with me? How could I be so blind? I know she tried to give me everything. I still couldn't see. Now as I watch our love slip away, I'm begging you, please don't break it up. Take a little time and make it up. I don't wanna break it up. Oh no, I only wanna make it up tonight.
yeah, just what I was talking about, because I get it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And I'm Gonna Win is on there. Luann is on there. How many songs from? I mean, I know guys are gonna do other songs in this Foreigner 4 shows, but are you basically doing the whole album, or have you
I'm not
decided?
exactly sure. I think it is the whole album,
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
which should be fun. You know, I'm not going to be singing all of them. Luis Maldonado is going to be singing some, and it's just going to be a ball.
How do you and Lewis decide what you're gonna sing?
We just talk about it, and you know, he's an excellent singer, an excellent guitar player, but he's also a fan of that music from back in the day.
Yeah.
So he's got a terrific voice, and when he says he'd like to sing this song, I think about it for a second. I go, I think that would be awesome. Go for it, Lewis. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know, you co-wrote a lot of the songs too, so they're kind of your babies. So is it emotional to kind of give some of that up, or no? It's okay now.
For you know, for a live performance, I don't mind giving it up to someone who knows what to do with it, and Luis sure does. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can we go back a little bit and talk about the first album?
Sure.
was 77 and feels like the first time, came out of the box. And
No, I can't help myself. You're all in the world to me. It feels like the first time. Feels like the very first time. It feels like the first time. It feels like the very first time. I have waited a lifetime.
man, that was a huge hit. It was like top 5 hit. And that also with Cold of Ice. I mean, Cold as Ice. I mean, that was your debut album. And I mean, man, those were huge records.
You know that you are as cold as ice to me.
Were you surprised?
I knew that the recordings and the songs were written well, and I knew I could sense that disco was kind of tapering off,
Mm.
but there was kind of a vacant spot for good rock and roll, and
Yeah.
and I think between Boston and a few other great bands and ourselves, we stepped into uh, uh, that area and started bringing rock back to life in the country.
Yeah, filled that
That's
void.
the way we
Yeah.
that's the way we all see it, anyways.
Yeah. Long, Long Way from Home was on there.
Yes, it
And
was.
I'm looking out for the two of us. I hope we'll be here when they're through with us. I was inside looking outside.
there's a song. I was traveling yesterday. I was driving, and so I was just streaming Foreigner, and so I was just remembering all these great tracks. And from that first album, "Fool for You Anyway" came up.
Yeah, Mick was singing that. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was him singing that. I
Man,
was singing, the harmonies.
You know you belong here beside me. I'm a fool for you anyway. I'm a fool for you anyway. Yes, I'm a fool for you anyway.
yeah, but I had forgotten about that track, and it kind of made sense to me as because it's kind of this mid-tempo groove, right? But it it shows that you guys, because the rock ballads hadn't really become a big thing yet, but they were about to.
But you're right.
Yeah, man, I love that album. And then Double Vision came out, and
Oh, that broke it
um,
open.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Double Vision. Were you bummed that it peaked at number 2 and it just couldn't
I
quite break
I
it?
wish number one, but we had never been close to number 2 before, so we were thrilled.
Fill my eyes with that double vision. No disguise for that double vision. Ooh, when it gets through to me, it's always new to me. My double vision is the best of me.
Best was yet to come.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I read that, tell me if this is right, that Double Vision, the lyrics were inspired by a hockey game or something like that.
It was inspired by a hockey game that was for the Stanley Cup finals between between the New York Rangers and the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
And the Rangers goalie, who was great, got sidesticked. In other words, they came by him and hit him with the end of the stick and knocked him out cold. And he got carried off the ice into the dressing room there, and the announcer said that he's not hurt too bad, but he's experiencing
double vision.
That's right. And at that point, I got the verses in the song written down, but I had no title for the song yet. And when I heard that, I shouted out, "That's it! That's it!"
Wow. I love that story, Lou. That is so great. Hot Blooded was on there.
That's why I'm hot-blooded. Check it and see. I got a fever of 103. Come on, baby, do you do more than dance? I'm hot-blooded, hot-blooded. If it feels alright, maybe you can stay all night. Shall I leave you my key?
Yep.
And you co-wrote that. And Blue Morning Blue Day was on there. And I had the vinyl 45 of Blue Morning Blue Day, and it was blue.
Yeah, that's awesome, isn't it? I got one of those. That's
You
so
have one?
cool.
Yeah.
Well, honey, don't telephone, 'cause I won't be alone. I need someone to make me feel better. Blue morning, blue day, won't you see things my way? Blue morning, can't you see what your love has done to me?
I think the blooded one was red, wasn't it?
You
Yeah, there
might
is
be
a-
right.
Red hot blooded one. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Head Games came out.
Light turns into night. We try and find the answer, but it's nowhere in sight. It's always the same, and you know who's to blame. You know what I'm saying? Still we keep on playing head games. That's all I got from you. Head games, and I can't take it anymore. Head games.
Yep.
And I had read in your book that you felt like that album was sounded unfinished.
Yes.
Explain that.
Well, we spent a long time trying to decide who we'd like to have produce it with Mick, and there were a lot of good names that came up, but we had heard Roy Thomas Baker's work, and it was awesome with Queen and some of the other people he produced, and we managed to get him to come and help us, and the work went great, but it just didn't show his production at the best, and we knew for sure that he had been going from band to band to solo artist, and first time we met him, he was so exhausted he couldn't even stand up. It wasn't high or drunk; he was just tired. So our hopes of having a Roy Thomas Baker produced album, we did get it, but we didn't get him at his best.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Head Games and Dirty White Boy. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
song.
good tracks. Yeah. The album cover though got a lot of attention.
We got a lot of trouble for that.
Yeah, it's right behind me, right there. The lady sitting on the urinal.
It doesn't look that bad to me.
No.
It looked that
As-
bad to you?
As I think I was 16 when that came out, and man, I was like, wow, I like this.
A little risque, but not nearly as bad as some of the Stones albums and stuff like that.
True. Yeah.
You know, and what she's doing is she's wiping her phone number off the wall inside the boys' bathroom, because she's not a bad girl,
Yeah.
just doesn't want it there.
Right.
And the look on her face looks like somebody caught her doing that and she's surprised,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty different album cover, and there were a lot of people who took that and Dirty White Boy and made something evil out of it.
Are you worried what your friends see? And will it ruin your reputation loving me? 'Cause I'm a dirty white boy. Yeah, a dirty white boy. A dirty white boy.
It got banned in the Bible Belt. A lot of Midwest stations banned it, and I think the controversy between the album cover and the first single really took our legs out from under us.
Yeah. Well, kids loved it because I thought it was great. It was just, I loved that. You know, I mean, I wasn't a big rebel as a teenager, but I mean, I had all my vinyls and the album covers, and that's what stands out. It's like, yeah,
I don't. It was not evil. It was just a teeny bit suggestive. That's all.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. You know, Al Greenwood and Ian McDonald played on the first three albums, and you know, what I was talking about, we were talking about a little bit earlier with the synthesizer and keyboards that Foreigner used, and that was really kind of their wheelhouse for you guys on the first three albums. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We after Head Games didn't get the kind of attention that we thought it deserved. Mick and I were talking to each other a lot, and when we started writing songs for our next album after Head Games, a lot of the ideas that were coming from were almost in the same vein as the ideas they had for previous albums, and we determined, Mick and I were determined after Head Games that we were going to completely strip away that whole vibe and do something radically different.
Yeah. And that was Foreigner 4.
Foreigner 4, and we felt that they were not set in their ways, but just kind of comfortable in the style they had been playing, and we wanted to tear all preconceptions away and almost come out like a different band.
Yeah. I'm so glad you did.
It was really difficult to do because we were very close with the members of the band at that point, but it was something that had to be done, and I'm glad we did it because I think Foreigner 4, we had some really interesting people playing on the album, and the songs were very different from what we had written in the past, and you know, there was a heavy R&B thing there.
Yeah.
And it was a high point for us.
Yeah, for sure. It was one of the greatest albums of all time. I mean, it just is.
Thank you.
And then after 4 came Agent Provocateur and I Want to Know What Love Is.
Yes.
And wow, I mean, that just blew the socks away.
It was an incredible song.
Do you know that it's been, I read it's been streamed over 1 billion times on Spotify?
I did not know that.
I read that yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, 1 billion times, Lou.
I know I've sang it at a bunch of weddings.
Yeah, yes, you have.
Let's talk about love that you feel inside. I'm feeling so much love. Oh, you just can't hide.
Yes, yeah. Did I read Jennifer Holliday did some of the solo fill-ins at the end of the song with the choir?
She did. The ad libs at the end.
Yeah.
When let's talk about love, and she goes,
Yeah.
well, you know,
Yeah.
she answered me and stuff, and then she hit the high note way at the end of the tail end of the song. It was unbelievable.
And you hit the high note too.
I hit it too. Yeah.
Yeah. That was Yesterday was on that album as well.
Yep,
And
that was a great
yeah,
song.
it is a great song.
That was yesterday, but today life goes on. No more hiding in yesterday, 'cause yesterday's
Um, Inside Information came out in '87. I Don't Want to Live Without You. Another that was the last Foreigner top 10 hit. Yeah.
I believe it was. Mick and I were not on the best terms. Then
Yeah.
Going into that album, he seemed to be obsessed with keyboards,
Yeah.
and the signature hard rock guitar songs were not up to snuff. I thought they sounded almost like throwaways, you know.
Mm,
But songs with the keyboards were very moody and this and that, and think that's what he was looking for, and I thought I told him I thought it would be the death knell for our reputation as a rock band if we
right.
go, you know? And he was determined to do that, and I I was trying to write lyrics for a lot of these songs, and I did okay, but I didn't have my heart in it, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I think you pegged that right because actually the band was having more success on the adult contemporary chart than the Hot 100.
That may be great for an adult contemporary band, but
Right.
we were putting ourselves off as a rock band, and
Right.
that's what I thought we were.
Yeah. Say You Will was on there. I was I was a disc jockey on the radio when Inside Information came out. Man, we played the crap out of that song.
Will you tell me how much I mean to you? Will you say you always will be true? I need more than a come on sign. So won't you say you will be mine? Now won't you say you will, say you won't? Make up your mind tonight.
Hey, well, it was a good sounding song. Yep.
Yeah. You know what else is on there that I love? And it was a rock song. Can't Wait.
Yes, that's a great song. Yes.
That's my favorite song on the album.
Can't wait another moment. I can't wait another heartbeat. No, I can't wait another moment. I couldn't wait another heartbeat. I can't wait until midnight.
It's a great song, but it wasn't a radio play song. You know, it was a
Right.
little too heavy for a rock song at that time. It got
Yeah.
played by the album radio stations, played a lot of it. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Do you mind if I talk about your solo records for a second?
not at all.
Lou, Ready or Not came out in '87. Midnight Blue is one of my favorite all-time songs. I just love that record.
Thank you.
I was talking to a friend of mine, I think Thursday or Friday of last week, and I told him that you and I were going to be having this conversation, and he just started singing Midnight Blue.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
he knows the lyrics, he knows the song, he knows you, and it just, yeah, man, that is such a great tune.
Do you know that I was looking in Billboard at the beginning of 1988, and there was an article about the most played singles from 1987, and Midnight Blue was number one.
Really? It doesn't
Oh,
surprise me.
over Can't Find What I'm Looking For by U2, by one of the Big Police songs, and so we were the most played single of that year.
And you might think that it's much too soon for us to go this far into the midnight blue. Oh, it's midnight blue. Oh,
Oh man, it's a great song. I loved it. And I remember when that came out and I was thinking, this is what the last Foreigner single should have sounded like.
And you know what? I heard that from so many people, and I didn't feel bad about it, but I just it, I've got to say that at some point, Bruce Turgan, the bass player in Foreigner, and I wrote Midnight Blue,
Hmm.
and we brought the song to Mick and played an acoustic version for it, and then played him a little demo, and he was unmoved, and
Wow.
he said, can I try and play it? And he didn't play the chords right, and then he gave the guitar back to Bruce. He says, I don't think that song's for us.
Wow. At the end when you hit that high falsetto, Midnight Blue, I mean, it just tingles. I mean, the hairs stand up on your arms. It's so great, man. Your vocals are so great.
Thank you. That song is very cool with the different chords, and it's right up Mick's alley. I just didn't understand why he
Yeah.
didn't see it.
Yeah.
Other, um, maybe he didn't want anything that I brought to be overshadow anything he did.
You guys were a little bit at odds at that time, huh?
We were at odds at that time. We weren't before. Everything was pretty tight, but I up to that point I had to know my place.
Yeah. Yeah. You did in 89, Long Hard Look had Just Between You and Me.
Yes,
And that's a great tune. I think you wrote that with Holly Knight, who obviously is a very well accomplished songwriter. How was
yes,
that?
it was awesome, and she's easy to write with, and she's a wonderful lady.
Now don't you know that one cold word's gonna lead to another? Then we'll have nowhere to go. Even if heaven and earth collide tonight, we'll be all alone in a different light. I don't care what the world can't see. It's just between you and me, you and me.
Yeah. I had read, tell me if this is true, that when Mick came up with the band name Foreigner, the idea was that half of the band were British and half of the band were American. So wherever you were at, half of the band were going to be foreigners. Is that true?
True, but before the band was called Foreigner, Mick wanted to call the band Trigger, as if trigger of a gun. But
Yeah.
but when he said that, I went me because that's what
Right.
Roy Rogers' horse was named Trigger.
Right. Right. That's what came to
And,
my mind.
yeah, and that was the end of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Um,
Foreigner is a much better name.
for sure. Yeah. In 2013, you and Mick were inducted in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Well deserved.
Yes, we
And
were barely speaking at that time.
yeah. But am I correct? And it may have been a different event because I don't have it in my notes. But was that kind of reunion at that? Was that where things started to patch up a little bit?
A little bit,
Yeah,
but not good enough to do anything about it. He had already had the new Foreigner together,
yeah,
and when we talked a lot before the awards, and everything seemed good, and we had a lot of fun receiving the awards. We played a couple songs,
hmm.
and that was fun, and we went out to dinner and stuff afterwards, and everything was good, but it didn't change anything.
How does that compare? And maybe it's not a fair comparison to even ask, but between the Songwriters Hall of Fame and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, is one more important to you than the other?
I can't actually say that because they're both very important, and I think I've always treasured my ability to write or co-write a song, and that comes from a different place than being on stage and rocking.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I felt that the Songwriters Hall of Fame was incredibly prestigious,
Yeah.
and I think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is also incredibly prestigious. and to be in both of them is unbelievable.
It's well deserved. I mean, if anybody deserves to be there, it's you, and in the writing that you did, with the band and outside the band.
And you know what tops it off for me? I
Tell
was
me.
also inducted into the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame.
Wow. Yeah.
Never saw that coming.
Yeah. Hat trick.
Yep, hat trick. That's right.
Yeah. Hey, I was gonna ask you about your influences and who influenced you, and I had recalled in your book you had talked about John Lennon being a real influence on you and what you did, and you actually met John Lennon, huh?
I met him when my band before Foreigner was called Black Sheep, and we were on Capitol Records, and we were recording our second album in I guess it was the record plant.
Mm-hmm.
And usually in a recording studio, there's 2 or 3 studios in the whole process there. And while we were recording our second album in one studio, John Lennon was recording his album where he did the Stand By Me. The producer was the husband of the lead singer of the Ronettes,
Phil
Ronnie.
Spector?
Yes, it
Was
was
it?
Phil Spector who
Yeah.
produced it. Yes,
Yeah.
and I would be singing, and I'd come out of my room, and I'd walk down the hall, and I'd put my ear against the door, and I hear John singing, and the background music and stuff, and it was awesome. But the best part is, most of those studios have a little room where if you've had enough, you walk in there and shoot some pool and make a cup of coffee or something. So after singing a tough song, I told the guys I needed a break, and I walked out of the room and I went into the break room, and there was John shooting pool by himself.
Wow.
And he looks up at me. He says, "You want to shoot a game?" And I should have known better because I'm not a good pool player at all. But I said, "Yeah, sure." And I shot the game of my life.
Yeah.
And we started talking. He says, "What are you doing here?" I says, I'm in a band called Black Sheep. We're on Capitol Records. You know Capitol Records, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I do. He smiled, and I says, "We're right down the hall. We're doing our second album." I says, "I heard you singing some oldies from the '50s." I says, "It sounds great. The arrangements and everything are great." He says, "Yeah, that's with Phil Spector." And I says, "Oh, I didn't know. That's awesome." And we talked for a good 15 or 20 minutes, shot a couple games of pool. And then he told me, "Well, I better get back to the studio." He said, "Nice talking to you." And I says, "Yeah, same here." And that's the end of it.
Wow. Wow, that's so great.
But
I
but you know, some 20 years later, my brother Ben, who is a drummer, plays in my band, uh, became Yoko Ono's drummer in the Plastic Ono band.
hmm
And so after John passed away, 10 years after he passed away, they had a huge outdoor tribute to him in Liverpool. And Yoko sent me a note and asked me if I would consider performing. And I told her, of course. So they had a house band there, and I trying to think of what I sang. I sang, "You Can't Do That,"
hmm
and I can't remember what the other song was, but it was so thousands and thousands of people on the docks of Liverpool, you know,
Wow.
and
Wow.
so I got a chance to see the Cavern Club and see all these other historic places that the Beatles were in, and I was in my high life, boy.
Yeah. I had read that you also you were a big fan of the band Free.
Yes, absolutely.
The drummer Simon Kirk. I've
Yes,
had him on 2 times. Once with the drummer from the Babies, and once just by himself. And man, he's got some great stories. But
He-
I had read the reason you were a fan is because the way that they filled the air. I think you said something to the effect the way they filled the air with with the songs. There's no wasted space or
with-
something like that.
but they really did make awesome moving music, and they started out as a blues band.
Yeah,
Their
I
first
know.
first album was all blues songs,
Yeah,
and it was called Tons of Sobs.
yeah, yeah.
And then the next one is the album that they had Fire and Water and All Right Now on.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
And they
I'll
just
never
they
I'll
got
never
better.
forget. They did get better and better, and then of course Bad Company, kind of took off from there. But I'll never
Yes.
forget when Simon he told me about. He said the way that they were playing, and he said you got to give your music a chance to some room to breathe. And he said sometimes it's more important what you don't put in than what you do put in.
He's right on it, boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Lou, I'm right at the clock. I'm right where I promised I would keep you. This has been one of my favorite all-time interviews. I'm so happy to see you. I'm so glad to see you're healthy and doing great.
Sam,
Yeah. Good
and very
luck. Yeah. Good luck on the Deluxe Foreigner 4 on the shows in December. Man, I hope it works out so you guys stay on the road a little bit longer. I'd love to come see you.
and towards the middle of December and the beginning of January, I'll have a new single and a new album out myself.
Well, we may have to do a follow-up and talk about the new music.
I think we should. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'd love that, Lou. I'd love that. Have a great day. I know I got to let you go. You got more coming up behind you, but man, I appreciate you giving me some time today. One of my favorite singers of all time and writers, and I just love what you do, brother.
Well, we'll do this again. Have
All
a
right, I
great
look
day.
forward to it. You too. We'll see you.
For questions or comments, email Steve at steveryan.songoftheday@gmail.com.